Hi, welcome to American Reversion. And if I decide to put this on the other site, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I am Steve Smith. Wanted to shoot a little short one here for Father's Day. I was going to make the next one on kind of the foundation of the fact that America was or the United States actually was a Christian country, kind of in response to a comment that I saw on the site somewhere. But I'm going to interject this on Father's Day. Things have happened to our country. We know that. The foundation is crumbling. Fathers are the foundation of families. And families are the foundations of communities and societies and countries. And when the foundation starts to crack and crumble, it can't stay together very much longer. And the reasons for this crumbling has been, in my opinion, the failure on the part of many fathers. Now, when I thought about what I was going to talk about today, I realized that I was going to get into a lot of my opinion on what's happened to men in the last 30, 40 years, and that would have taken me down a long rabbit hole that's going to take a lot longer than I want to do on this one, and it would also go into quite a few negatives that I really don't want to get into here on Father's Day. So I'm going to save that for maybe not the next one, but pretty soon. I want to say something to a few different categories of fathers. First, to the fathers who are doing it right, the ones who are working hard, the ones who are dedicating themselves to their families. They're the backbones of this country. I don't mean to leave you mothers out. You're the glue, but the fathers are the foundations. And if you have any doubt about that, you look at areas and families and countries who lose the fathers and see what happens. I didn't put many people in jail who had good relationships with their fathers. And you go to any prison around, you go to any economically depressed area where the drug use is high, the out of wedlock pregnancy rate is high, the school dropout rate is high, and you will see a common denominator, and that is a lack of fathers. So anyway, getting back to this. For you guys, for you fathers who are doing it right and working hard and raising your kids and staying with their mothers and building your families the way that God meant us to do it, you are what's holding this country together to the extent that we are. Congratulations on that, and we got to keep doing it. I include myself in there with the rest of you, hoping that I'm doing it right, and God will someday let us know whether we are. Another group that I want to address for just a second. To you guys who are out there who spend more time watching sports than you do helping your kids with their homework, or if they can explain, or if you can explain, my director is making things. If you can explain the rebuilding process of your favorite sports team better than you can explain the development of this country and what makes it work and what went into making this country, you're not doing it right. You got some stepping up to do. If you're more involved in your own activities than you are in explaining to your kids how to live right, and I say this because I know a lot of fathers like this. I'll use a sports term that I know that you'll understand, because I'm sure you use it a lot when you're watching the game. You need to up your game. I have taught several of your adult sons, and by that I mean in their 20s, how to change a tire in the last year. Okay? Broken down at the side of the road, and I stop, and they've got a cell phone in their hand and a credit card, and they think that's how to change a tire. And I stop there and I show them how to change a tire, And so I ask you, do you remember who won the game that you were watching when you could have been teaching that boy how to change a tire? Okay. Up your game, guys. Your sons, your children, your daughters also, they depend on it. This country depends on it, and whether you know it or not, you depend on it. Okay. The quality of your life depends on it too. Another group, those fathers who don't take care of their kids, who either for whatever reason they either run off or they're not around, or they don't take the responsibility. I have nothing to say to you, and neither should anybody else. You're a drag on this society. You are a bane to your children. I'm sorry for them because they have you as a father. Now, the last group. You younger guys who are thinking about being a father someday. Whether you're married yet or not, or maybe you just started. I had a chance this morning to run into a young guy who had just become a father. Had his baby born 3 days ago. I don't know whether it was a boy or a girl. I didn't ask, because the important thing that I talked to him about was being a father. So if you're in that situation, you're thinking about being a father, it is the greatest blessing God will ever give you. It's also the greatest responsibility God will ever give you. And He expects a lot. And those kids that you're going to have deserve everything you can give them. Okay? It's also an honor. There are 4 basic legs to fatherhood. You need to lead, you need to love, you need to provide, and you need to protect. Okay? And your children and the world should be able to see your love in the way that you lead, provide, and protect. Freud, of all people, I'm not a big fan of Sigmund Freud, but he said something very interesting that I just happened to read not too long ago. And he said, I won't say this exactly right, but he said something to the effect that of all of the needs of childhood, there is no more important need for a child than the protection of their father. He didn't say the love, he didn't say the money, he didn't say the bicycles or whatever like that. He said the protection. And if you look at kids who have grown up, some always knowing that their father was there, watching things, protecting them, and that doesn't mean just physical protection, because there are things in the world today that the kids need to be protected from that they have no idea are out there, and they're not all physical. Okay, we know we live in a world of spiritual warfare as well as physical. Those are the 4 things that you want to remember: love, lead, provide, and protect. We came down here today to Clinton, Missouri. It's our favorite pizza place, Pizza Glen. It takes us about an hour and a half to get down here from where we live in Kansas. And since we were driving down here, I decided to come over here to a cemetery where a lot of my family's buried. My wife reminded me that this is the second video that I've shot in a cemetery here recently. She says it's getting kind of creepy, but just the way it is. This is where we trace our history. Right back here, my grandfather's buried. He raised the man who raised me. The young man I'm raising is holding the camera for this, and the other one is back over there somewhere doing something or other. All through here are uncles of mine and great uncles and such as that. This is the continuity of a family. Fathers, the men, are the continuity, and the families are continuity of a country or a community or a belief system. The value of fathers, the worth of fathers, has been diminished in the eyes of society over the last 30, 40 years. But the result of that has not been good, and we know that it's wrong. So I just want to say to you guys, for the new guys, you have a lot to look forward to. Do the best you can. Your kids deserve it, and God will hold you to it. To the guys who don't care, heck with you. I've got nothing for you, and neither should anybody else. For you guys that are watching the game or out on the golf course today, come on, man, up your game, right? And for the guys, you guys who are busting your butts, doing it right, trying to get things back the way that things ought to be, so you can raise your kids in a country that we lived in and were raised in. I'd say to you, again, thanks. Great job. You have the respect of everyone, or you should have. You should be revered by everyone like fathers used to be revered. And I would just encourage you to hold these other groups to account. That's what makes men often, if they weren't raised to do right to begin with, sometimes being held to account by other men. And that's usually what does it. We'll turn them around. So hold these other guys to account for their actions or their non-actions, and encourage and help these younger guys as the situation presents itself. So anyway, happy Father's Day to you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.